You ever wonder how some businesses just seem to get their customers? Consistently hitting the mark with their products and marketing.
Yeah, it often looks like magic from the outside.
It's not magic, is it?
Yeah,
It's more about really understanding the playing field, without getting buried under mountains of data.
absolutely.
So today, we're pulling back the curtain on a vital tool that helps make that happen, the marketing research system.
Exactly. It might sound a bit, I don't know, academic, but think of it as the smart engine behind truly effective marketing.
A smart engine. I like that.
It's the system that lets businesses move beyond sort of hunches and guesswork.
And make decisions based on real understanding instead.
Precisely.
Right. And we've got some great material here that shows how this marketing research system fits into, well, an even broader framework, doesn't it? The marketing information system.
That's the one, the MIS.
Okay. So our goal in this deep dive, really, is to make it crystal clear what this system is, why it's so important, and how it can be your best defense against just guessing when it comes to your marketing efforts. Okay, so where do we even start with this? It feels kind of big.
Well, let's begin with the big picture then. The Marketing Information System, or MIS.
Okay.
Our sources describe it as a coordinated set of people, equipment, and processes,
People, equipment, processes.
all designed to gather, sort, analyze, evaluate, and then distribute the marketing information that decision makers need.
Right. The needed information.
Yes. And the key here is that it needs to be the right information delivered at the right time.
Timely, yeah.
And it absolutely has to be accurate. That's non-negotiable.
Absolutely. Because outdated or wrong information is, well, it's worse than no information at all, right?
Definitely. Can lead you way off track.
And this MIS isn't just one single thing. It's made up of different parts, as I understand it.
That's right. Three main components.
Okay, what are they?
We've got the internal record system.
Okay, that makes total sense. That's all your internal data, like sales figures, customer service logs, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Your own operational data. Then there's the marketing intelligence system.
Intelligence. So that sounds more like looking outwards.
It is. It's more about keeping an eye on what's happening outside the company in the broader market environment, trends, competitors, general happenings.
Gotcha. And the third piece.
And then we have our main focus for today, the marketing research system.
Ah, okay. The star of the show.
Indeed. Our sources really emphasize that this is a crucial part of the overall MIS.
So how does it differ from, say, the intelligence gathering?
This is where the systematic analysis of data really takes place. It's a defined, rigorous process.
Systematic, okay.
Yeah. It includes specific research activities supporting marketing decisions, and it uses statistical methods to transform raw data into valuable insights, stuff you can actually use.
So it's a much more focused and, deliberate effort than just generally keeping an eye on things?
Precisely.
It's when you have a specific question, maybe, or a specific problem you need to solve.
That's often the trigger, yes. A defined problem or opportunity.
And it sounds like this kind of in-depth information is vital for managers, like when they're planning campaigns or trying to understand market shifts.
Absolutely. And even when they're dealing with their suppliers and partners, it informs so many interactions.
Right.
And it really complements the marketing intelligence system. They work hand in hand.
How so?
Well, while intelligence might be about that ongoing monitoring of the environment, the research system is often activated when there's a specific issue that needs a deep dive.
Okay, so intelligence spots something, research investigates it.
Could be that way, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Together, they work to collect and store data, enabling that in-depth analysis of particular problems. They help generate reliable forecasts.
Forecasts are huge.
They are, and even examining those big-picture macro trends that can have a significant impact down the line.
Now, our material makes a really important distinction that I think, honestly, a lot of people mix up. Marketing research versus market research.
Ah, yes, that's a common point of confusion.
Yeah.
Very important to clarify.
Can you break that down for us?
Certainly. So, market research is the more focused of the two.
More focused. How?
Think of it as a targeted investigation into a specific group, your potential or current customers.
Okay.
Understanding who they are, what they want, what their needs and preferences are. It's essentially a subset within the larger field of marketing research.
Okay, so market research is like putting magnifying glass on your target customer or a specific market segment.
That's a great way to put it, yes.
So then, What does marketing research cover that's broader than just that specific customer group?
Marketing research casts a much wider net. It has a much wider lens.
Okay.
It doesn't just look at the customer. It examines, well, pretty much all aspects of a company's marketing activities.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Sure, things like distribution channels, how are products actually getting to the consumers?
Logistics and stuff?
Right. Or what's the effectiveness of different advertising strategies? Which ads are working, which aren't? Why?
Ad testing, campaign analysis.
Exactly. And even how well the sales team is performing. Analyzing territories, compensation plans, effectiveness.
Wow. Okay. So it's a much more comprehensive view of all the elements involved in bringing a product or service to market and making it successful.
That's it. It's a holistic look at the marketing function.
That makes a lot more sense now. Market research is customer-centric, while marketing research is more system-centric, maybe, looking at all the moving parts.
System-centric is a good way to think about it, yeah.
Now, actually doing marketing research sounds like quite a structured process. It's not just random data collection.
Oh, definitely not.
Our sources outline 6 key steps. Let's maybe walk through those.
Yes, it is indeed a structured approach, and that's a big part of why it's so effective. You need that structure.
So step 1.
Step 1 is clearly defining the problem you're trying to solve.
The problem first.
Yes, or the opportunity, and also identifying the different decision alternatives you have and setting specific research objectives.
So what exactly do you need to find out? What choices are you actually facing?
Precisely. Getting clarity on that first is critical. This initial step really provides the roadmap for the entire research process, if you get this wrong.
The whole thing goes off track.
Right.
Right? You can't find the answer if you don't even know the question you're asking.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, step 2 then is developing the research plan.
Yeah.
This sounds like where you figure out exactly how you're going to get those answers, the nitty-gritty.
Exactly. This is where you design your entire research strategy, your blueprint.
Okay.
Our sources highlight several critical components here. First, determining your data sources.
Data sources, like where the info comes from.
Right. Will you be using existing data, stuff that's already out there that's known as secondary data?
Like industry reports or government stats?
Yes, things like that. Or will you need to collect new, original data specifically for your problem, which is primary data?
Okay, primary versus secondary. Got it. What else is in the plan?
Then you need to choose your research methods. How will you gather the primary data if you need it?
Methods? Like surveys.
Surveys are a common one, yes. But also observing customer behavior, maybe running controlled experiments, or perhaps using ethnographic methods.
Ethnographic, what's that exactly?
That's where you study people in their natural settings, like observing how they shop in a store or use a product at home, trying to get really deep contextual understanding.
Interesting. Okay, so data sources, research methods. What else goes into this plan?
Well, there's more to it than just that, isn't there? The plan also covers the specific research instruments you'll use.
Instruments, like the tools.
Exactly. Things like questionnaires, interview guides, maybe discussion outlines for focus groups.
Makes sense.
Or increasingly, various digital technologies for data collection, online survey platforms, tracking software, things like that.
Right. Technology plays a big role now.
Definitely. And then there's the vital step of sampling.
Sampling. Deciding who to talk to.
Precisely. You usually can't talk to everyone in your target market, so you need a plan for selecting a representative group. Who do you need to study to get a reliable picture?
That sounds tricky. Getting the right sample.
It is crucial. And linked to that, you need to decide how you're going to actually contact these people.
Ah, the contact methods.
Yes, online surveys are very popular now, but there's also in-person interviews, phone calls, or even traditional mail sometimes.
Wow, okay. That step 2, the research plan, sounds like it involves a lot of interconnected decisions.
It really is. And each of these choices, data source, method, instrument, sample, contact method, has big implications for the quality of the data you collect, the time it takes, and the overall cost of the research.
You have to balance all those factors. Yeah. Okay, so that's step 2. What's step 3?
Step 3 is much more straightforward conceptually. It's actually collecting the data.
Getting your hands dirty.
Pretty much. This is the fieldwork phase where you put your plan into action and gather the necessary information. Executing the plan.
Okay. Data collected, then step 4.
Step 4 is all about analyzing that information.
Making sense of it all.
Exactly. Taking the raw data, processing it, cleaning it, and then looking for the key insights, the patterns, the findings that actually address your initial research problem.
Right, that's where the number crunching and the interpretation really come in, turning all that raw information into something meaningful, something actionable.
Actionable is the key word there.
Then we move to step 5, presenting the findings.
Yes,
Right.
because it's not enough to just have the answers buried in a spreadsheet somewhere.
Now, you got to communicate them.
You need to communicate them clearly and systematically to the people who will be making the important decisions based on the research. The managers, the executive.
Tailoring the message to the audience, I suppose.
Very important. And that brings us logically to the final step, step 6, making the decision.
Closing the loop.
Exactly. Ultimately, the whole goal of the marketing research system, all these steps, is to provide the evidence and insights needed to make more informed and hopefully more effective marketing choices.
So it's a complete cycle, really. From identifying the core problem or question, all the way through the planning, collecting, analyzing, reporting.
And finally, using the research to guide your actions. Yes.
Now, our sources also emphasize the strategic importance of all of this. It's not just about tackling individual issues as they pop up, is it? It fits into a bigger picture.
Not at all. It's much bigger than just troubleshooting within the larger context of marketing management.
Which involves what? Selecting target markets, creating value?
Exactly. Selecting your target customers and then figuring out how to create, deliver, and sustain value for them. The marketing research system plays a truly strategic role in all of that.
How so? In what strategic ways?
Well, for one, it empowers marketers to identify significant market opportunities that they might otherwise completely overlook.
Finding hidden gems.
Sort of, yeah. And it enables them to measure and forecast the size of a market, understand its growth potential, and even estimate potential profitability before jumping in.
That sounds incredibly valuable. Think about a company considering entering a new market segment or launching a totally new product.
Right. Solid marketing research in that situation can genuinely be the difference between a successful launch and a really costly failure.
That kind of foresight,
Yeah,
it's crucial for long-term strategic planning.
absolutely.
And the source specifically mentions the development of demand forecasts. We touched on forecasts earlier, but why are those so critical for a business?
Demand forecasts. They're essentially predictions of how much of a product or service you can realistically expect to sell.
Okay.
And they are absolutely vital for coordination across many different parts of a company. It's not just a marketing number.
How do other departments use them?
Well, finance relies heavily on them for budgeting and financial planning. Manufacturing uses them to determine production levels, how much to make, when.
Right. You don't want too much inventory or
Yeah.
too little.
Exactly. Purchasing needs them to ensure they have the right amount of raw materials ordered. Even human resources uses them for workforce planning. Do we need more staff or less?
Wow. So accurate research-backed demand projections are kind of a foundational element for efficient operations across the entire organization.
They really are. They facilitate that cross-departmental coordination.
Because like the insights generated by marketing research have this ripple effect throughout the whole company, not just the marketing department.
That's a perfect way to describe it, a ripple effect.
Now, beyond just these sort of hard numbers and forecasts, the material introduces this idea of marketing insights. That sounds a bit deeper.
It is deeper. It goes beyond just presenting data points.
So what is a marketing insight then?
Marketing insights are that next level of diagnostic information. They don't just tell you what is happening in the market.
Like sales are down 10%.
Right. They start to explain why it's happening. It's about understanding the underlying causes.
The why behind the what's.
Exactly. And then crucially figuring out, okay, what does this mean for us as marketers?
Yeah.
What actions should we take based on this understanding?
So it connects the data to strategy and action.
Yes. These insights are what truly drive strategic advantage. For example, research might show that decline in sales you mentioned.
Okay.
A marketing insight would go further and explain why that decline is happening, perhaps. A new competitor has entered the market with a superior offering, or maybe consumer preferences have fundamentally shifted away from what you offer.
So it's not just reporting sales are down, it's understanding the root cause, the why, and then guiding you towards the what next.
Precisely. The so what factor.
And the ability to consistently generate these sharp insights. It's described in our reading as a market-based resource. That sounds quite significant, like a real asset.
It is indeed. Framing it that way positions the marketing research system and the company's capability in using it not just as a cost center or a support function,
Not just an expense.
but as a genuine strategic asset, something that can provide a significant and, importantly, sustainable competitive advantage over time.
So companies that get really good at this.
Companies that are skilled at generating and, crucially, acting upon these deeper marketing insights are ultimately going to be much more successful and more resilient in the long run. They adapt faster, they see opportunities sooner.
Okay, so to really try and nail this down then, our sources emphasize that a marketing research system is much more than just, say, collecting surveys or gathering some statistics.
Much more. That's just a fraction of it.
It's a systematic and structured way to truly understand your customers,
Yes.
to keep a close eye on your competitors, analyze the constantly changing marketing
An
landscape,
whole environment.
and ultimately use all that knowledge to make more informed, data-driven strategies and decisions.
Precisely. That's the core function. Understand, analyze, decide, act based on evidence.
And I guess in today's world, which is so complex and seems to change so fast,
Incredibly fast, yes.
relying solely on intuition or just, gut feeling seems like a pretty risky proposition for any business.
Extremely risky. What worked yesterday might be totally wrong today.
So a robust marketing research system isn't just a nice-to-have anymore.
Not at all. Our sources position it as a fundamental strategic necessity.
A necessity for making, what, faster, more accurate decisions.
Faster, more accurate, and ultimately more confident marketing decisions. Decisions that are much more likely to drive real business success.
So if you listening have ever been curious about how successful businesses seem to have that deeper understanding, that almost uncanny knack for knowing their markets and customers, well, now you've got a glimpse into the engine that powers a lot of those insights.
It's not magic, like you said at the start. It's process.
Understanding the marketing research system is really foundational for anyone who wants to grasp the fundamentals of effective marketing today.
Absolutely. And it really underscores the power of, asking the right questions and then systematically seeking the answers.
That systematic approach.
Yeah. And when you consider this structured approach, defining the problem,
Yeah.
developing that detailed plan, rigorously collecting and analyzing the data, and then using those insights to genuinely guide decisions.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. It prompts a broader question, really. Thinking beyond just marketing. What other areas within a business could significantly benefit from adopting a similar level of systematic inquiry and data analysis?
That's interesting. Applying it elsewhere.
Right. Not just to address immediate challenges, but maybe also to proactively identify new opportunities, new efficiencies, and ultimately to cultivate a lasting competitive advantage across the board.
So using that research mindset more broadly.
Exactly. It's a powerful framework, and its potential applications might reach far beyond just the traditional marketing function. Something to think about.